All right. Okay. It's begun.
Yeah, we're here, right?
Yeah, we made it.
Do you feel present
No.
in the now?
Well,
No?
wait a second. 1 second. Let me think about it. Yeah, now I am.
Yeah. I feel like we have a lot of ground cover, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so yeah, I have like a bunch of stuff I guess I gotta talk about, but I'll say that and then it'll end up being like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you'll just speed through it and it'll be done.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like ramble on. Yeah, and then we'll be over with. But anyways, Roving Slant, this is episode, what, 17, 16?
I don't remember. I haven't uploaded the last one. So
That's kind of how I keep track, probably. So no, I think it's 17.
yeah.
I think I saw 16 on my desktop there. So.
I'm just ready for 24. We'll get to that one.
Yeah, that's that'll be. We'll just label that one episode 24. Hell.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So, anyways, we find ourselves in a room once again together.
Yeah, you and me.
To talk about things.
After the gym, flipping tires together.
That's right.
Old women telling us to do more reps.
Yeah.
Because we look scrawny.
She's told me that so many times.
Well, you know what? She's going to make us strong.
Yeah, she is. She's just looking out.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
This is like I want to say this is the second or third time she's walked up to me while I was like drenched in sweat, like taking a break. And then she like walks over like, boys are supposed to be working out in here. Like,
she probably gets there at 4 a.m. and flips the largest tire. Like that's the precursor to her shit talking us.
Damn. Yeah, she's always there, dude.
Yeah.
She does those Zumba classes like every day.
Wow. We should ask her for cooking recipes. I bet she has them.
I bet she doesn't, but she might not. But she might ride a Harley.
That's true.
That might be more her speed.
If you go to the gym as a grandma, you have a Harley.
Yeah.
That's just the stereotype.
That's how it works.
We watch her leave. Just to confirm.
Yeah. Just like stalker, like wait.
She actually just has like a really low riding, like 1950s kitted out car.
She got hydraulics on it.
Yeah. Bouncing. I love this music. It speaks to me. What the fuck?
It's just like it's metal. Nothing matches.
She's so confusing that our brain just implodes.
She's like, you guys ever smoke acid?
Yeah, she does it in a pipe.
Yeah, I used to put it on my tongue, but that was too rough.
Yeah.
Or not rough enough.
I've been growing opium in my poppy garden.
You boys should come over for some fat heroin. Speaking of heroin, me and the fiance started watching Breaking Bad. After all these years, it's been over. Like, that show is like 2013, I think. Yeah. And like now we're like, it's time.
I got into it for a very brief moment, binge watched a couple seasons of it, and then I just stopped cold turkey. Yeah. It was just too much for me.
We're probably going to end up in the same boat just because that's how we watch shows usually. We'll like get halfway through something, kind of like move on to something else, and then forget about the other one till like, years later. So, but it's really good. If anybody hasn't watched Breaking Bad yet, let me tell you.
Anyone who hasn't gotten that memo.
That character, Walter White, that's a good one.
He really does stuff.
Yeah.
Unlike other characters I've seen.
Yeah, the thing that I like about it is that it feels like there's no like, the characters seem very like human-y. You know what I mean? They don't do anything that's super irrational or like wacky. So like even a character that was kind of the villain, which is like the Uncle DEA agent, like this is just first episode stuff. Yeah. Like he's kind of like, at the very beginning, he seems to be made out as a villain, but they're like, oh no, he just does like human stuff. He's just doing his job. He doesn't really, he's not like a huge whatever, but it's just interesting. You can kind of see like where everything's going to like fall, but you're like, how do we get there? Yeah. So, yeah, because it kind of set it up where everybody can kind of think about it and go like, so that guy's like, brother-in-law is the drug agent and he makes drugs? So isn't that where we're going to end up? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we just got to see how.
Is that primarily what you like about the show? Is that all of the characters don't really feel kind of like tacky evil or something? Or
I've been kind of in this like thing where like the show feels more real. So like we also recently watched, I think maybe I told you on the podcast or something, RRR.
you did talk about that. I don't know. I don't think it was on the podcast, so it was probably during our treadmill thing.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's a Hindi film, and it is the best movie I've seen all year. It is like hands down, like just God tier. And rewatching it, I look in the background more now, and I'm like, it's not like CG. It's not fake backgrounds. They filmed this. They had to have filmed this at a certain location or something. It's either that or they did the effects so well that I don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because it looks real, it looks more natural. I like that a lot more than like if you watch like a Marvel movie or whatever. The backgrounds are always like a little blurred out, and like you can tell like, oh, this is just fake. Yeah. Right? They're in front of a screen and they just made it whatever.
Did you find the characters, though, from a very distinct, separate culture, any of that, to be difficult to understand or anything?
No, because they're, like, just badass. Like, it's like watching, Terminator or, like, I mean, maybe not Terminator,
it almost, like, in a way, likens back to, or harkens back to, like, a hero myth, and that's pretty universally understood, right?
Yeah.
Like, the hero fights evil in a way.
Well, so, like, it starts out with, like, these two people are going to clash, and they're going to go against each other, but then something happens where they have to work together, and then they become, like, best friends, but there's still, like, a background conflict where it's like, oh, eventually they're going to have to figure out something bad. Like, one guy was literally hunting the other guy, not knowing what he looks like.
Oh, interesting.
And so they become best friends, and then it's like, oh, he's got to figure that out.
That reminds me of, like, Oedipus Rex, where they're like, they tell Oedipus, you're destined to kill your father. He doesn't know that, I think, at that point, but they're like, they tell his mother and father, like, you're destined to kill your father, and whatever, do other stuff, have children with your mother or something. I don't remember if that was in part of the myth.
Yeah.
And then he ends up just encountering a guy on the road who doesn't move aside, and then he kills him, and then later finds out that was his father that he killed. So it's just kind of like that conflict of like the unknown. Yeah. Because his parents were like, we gotta send this baby away, we're never gonna deal with it, we'll just kill him. And then like they give it to a shepherd, and he's like, oh, I'll raise him.
Yeah.
Or he finds him, sorry. They throw him in some pit to starve or some shit, and then
Jesus.
Yeah, and then they find his feet bound or something. The flock, the herdsman.
Yeah,
it's been a bit.
So,
yeah. Anyways,
yeah. So Breaking Bad, really good. And then I also have watched another show, just by myself, not with the woman.
The woman, your first wife.
Yeah. There was a joke where I asked Cody, I'm like, yeah, man, it's good. What was I even talking about?
You were talking about the wedding and stuff like that. You were asking if I was going to show up to the reception and the wedding or something, and then I was like, yeah, I'm excited to see your first wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, the marriage of your first wife.
Yeah, I'm going to be like on the altar being like, yeah, I've been waiting for this moment to marry my first wife. Anyway.
Can't wait for more.
Yeah. No, I could just say that and mean only wife, but like just confuse.
Your family would just kind of be like, what?
Yeah, wait a second.
Did he say that?
Yeah, we have multiple wives.
Because like you choose this day to make a joke.
Yeah. Had my bridal shower.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Was it busy?
It was very busy. It was chaotic. There's a lot of people. I already told you, but I fall into after socialization, or it could be alcohol. I don't know, right? Because every time I socialize, I have something to drink, right? Yeah. At the bridal showers at a brewery, so how could you not, right? I was given a beer, right?
How could you not, bro?
Yeah, exactly. How could I not?
How could you have reservations?
Yeah. So, I got into like a pit of depression afterwards. And so that was Sunday. Today's Thursday. So like yesterday I felt fine. So 2 days of depression after socializing with a lot of people. Me personally, I think it could be part of it being that like I am introverted, I would say. Like I feel better if I hang out and like do stuff at home and it's just me or like me and the fiance and stuff. And then, you know, rather than hanging out with people all the time. Mm-hmm. When I hang out with people, I just get tired and I'm just like, I just want to sleep. So
yeah, I wonder. It's kind of interesting that you say that, because I do find that when I hang out with people, there is a rise and fall in like the dopamine and serotonin of sociability. Mm-hmm. But also when I hang out with people, I usually eat worse too. If I'm not cooking, because we'll usually get like a pizza or something like that, and that's just a bunch of carbs, which is essentially just sugar at the end of the day for your bodies. And then same thing with alcohol. I mean, it's just a bunch of sugar and liver poisoning. So it's like, is it that when you socialize, you're just more likely to eat worse, and thus that your body's just recuperating after a few days, but then the addedness of like the additiveness of having the dopamine high or serotonin high, both of which, like, does that diminish below baseline and then you feel worse off afterwards? I'm honestly not sure. Yeah, I think it could be a collection of all, but
probably. I think it's probably a little bit of everything, because I haven't been very good watching sugar recently. So like, I mean, like, that probably has something to do with it. But like, the issue with working out is that I go like, I worked out today, I could have some chocolate-covered almonds. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're like, man, I need more something.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Those chocolate-covered almonds at work that they sell, like just a little, bag of like one serving. Like, you know what? Those aren't even that bad. I look at the sugar, I'm like, it's not even a lot. It'll be fine.
Well, you know what you gotta do is you gotta check the moon cycle to see if it's a full moon, because that's when the parasites hatch in your stomach again.
Yeah, and I should also look at the biorhythms.
Yeah, biorhythms. Yeah. Make sure you have some sort of app that measures your circadian rhythm as well, because you want to see what the quality of your deep sleep is. Yes. Because if you're not dreaming well enough, well, then you gotta start practicing how to do the lucid dreaming.
I think I've unlocked that. Actually, you just reminded me. Yeah. I've been having real good like lucid dreams where like I'm somewhat in control and like I'm doing stuff. So like the way it works for me is I wake up in the morning because my fiance's getting up and going to get ready for work, and if I fall back asleep within the time frame of like her getting up, and like if I fall asleep after that, pretty much I will lucid dream. And then wake up like after a half hour. Whoa!
I do something similar. It's my most memorable dreams are always after about an hour of sleep. Like the wake up in the morning after the long cycle of sleep, and then there's like a lull of like 30 minutes to an hour, and then after I wake up from that, I usually remember something. But then my dreams are just like weird stuff that, symbolically, I feel like I almost understand. Like the last one I had that I remember, I was like driving through a blizzard, and then I had to stop, and there was like some Canadian geese that were dead, and I put them in the back of my car for some reason. And then I like got back in the car and started driving in the blizzard, and then it was just so heavy, it was difficult to see, and I realized like I needed somebody else's help to be able to navigate this blizzard or something like that. And then I like woke up and I was like, okay, maybe symbolically I need to ask more people for help when I'm doing stuff. I don't know what the geese have to do with that, but
otherwise you won't fly.
Yeah, otherwise I won't fly. But it was like a mother goose and then her like child, and they were like dying for some reason. I don't know. It was really bizarre.
Jeez,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we have a lot of food here.
Yeah, we do have a lot of food. Yeah, okay, so if you want to start eating the chili, I can talk about it while you do that.
Go ahead. So I'll see if it's cold enough.
I've been reading about the Ancestral Diet, and it has 4 pillars, essentially. The first pillar is to eat more, like, organic or, like, good vegetables, basically. Whole vegetables. Peanuts and nuts and stuff like that. Just stuff that isn't processed, basically. That's the first pillar. Yeah. Second pillar is to eat more meat on the bone, which is pretty easy. Just, cook it a long time to make sure it falls off the bone. The third pillar of it is to eat more organ meat, because that's typically where all of the nutrients and stuff is for a lot of meat, and we don't eat that as much as our ancestors did. And the fourth pillar, I don't really remember, so you're going to have to look it up. Anyways, I was like...
Figure it out.
Oh, sorry. The fourth pillar is fermented foods and sprouted foods. So that's where you get your microgreens, and that's where you got your fermented stuff like kimchi, sauerkraut, things, pickles even, and stuff like that. Because that has bacteria for your gut. That's what the fourth pillar is. So I went to a couple butchers and I was trying to figure out, like, yo guys, where you got hearts or something? The first person I went to was like, yeah, you'll have to go to like the Asian market or something like that. We don't have any of that stuff here. It's like, okay, but you guys, do you even butcher stuff here? Like, what?
Yeah, what are you
even
butchering?
Yeah.
Anything?
I can't just tell you to, like, put a heart on the side for me, bro, or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
They probably get the carcass and then, like, cut the meat off. You know
I do, yeah, or they just get it shipped in from somewhere else. I don't know.
Probably, and then sell it.
But after I finally did find a heart, the best part about organ meat is that no one wants it. So it's
dirt
cheap. Yeah, dirt cheap.
So, yeah. All right.
It's like 5.5 pounds for $10 for a heart.
Yeah. I have some notes.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's beef heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like...
It's ground chuck and beef heart, so it's like a half-half.
Okay,
yeah.
So the ground chuck... I think I can taste that part, because there's like little ground bits.
Yeah.
And then there's chunks of heart.
Yeah.
Right? So the chunks of heart taste kind of how I thought it would. It just tastes like beef, but chewier.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, I thought it was going to be gamier, but after like 8 hours of slow cooking it doesn't pretty matter. Easy. Yeah. It all just tastes like beef, basically.
It does taste a little bit like venison, like a little bit, but I mean,
yeah, and honestly, the preparation of it wasn't that much more difficult either. I mean, all it really has is a like silvery thin membrane on it that you have to cut off the top of it. Yeah. You have to trim some of the fat, and then you have to cut off some of the veins that like pump the blood, because those are pretty tough and hard to eat. But overall, I mean, I'm going to change the recipe a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to add, like, green olives instead of that. I'll probably use less tomato sauce. I use Roma tomatoes instead of their crushed tomatoes, because I felt like they would render better. Yeah. Probably use a higher quality chili powder, but overall, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
It's hearty. You can't say that about most things.
No,
when it has heart in it. It's really hearty.
No, it's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of olives. Yeah. But they're not super noticeable.
No, they're not. Once you start chewing everything together, it's...
Do you think if you chopped up the olives a little bit?
Yeah, that would definitely be bad. I was lazy, so I didn't bother.
You just dumped them in.
I just dumped them in the crock pot. I also used a little bit of celery. I could probably use more. I used the green pepper. Probably use more. Use jalapeno. That seemed to be about right. That's pretty good. It has
it's got
spice. Yeah.
It's got good flavor, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah.
Preparing organ meat. That's what you got to do. That's how you get your real nutrients. I've only had liver once in my life, and it was horrible. So I'm gonna have to see if I can figure out a way to make it. But
my fiance's parents like liver, at least from what I remember. Yeah. And I think I've only had it once, and it smelled so bad, and I was like a little kid. I'm like, I'm checking out.
It's weird. The guys, we go like up north camping twice a year. We skipped the first one for this year, so hopefully the second one will have more of a turnout. But they usually get liver and onions the first day that they're there, and I tried it once and it was awful. It was disgusting. It was so bad, but I'm sure I can make it better.
You ever have like pickled herring?
No, I don't think I have.
So that's another one of those where you smell it's disgusting, but like I've had it and it's like not terrible. And like my whole family eats all that.
I was reading people have recipes for like chicken livers, like they make like little chicken liver sticks or something.
Chiclets,
or
whatever. Is that what it's called?
Something, and you can eat it like everything else. Yeah. One of the funniest things from the book, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was really funny to me, is they were talking about homeopathically, like medicine-wise, that like heals like, because like the nutrients for those particular things are contained within those things. Yeah. So if you want to have a better liver, then you got to eat liver, because that's all the nutrients for your liver are in liver.
In a liver.
And so the same thing for eyes too. And so I have like nearsightedness, and I'm like, dude, I just got to get like 100 fish heads and boil them and make like fish head stew, and then all those eyes will render out.
There you go.
and then I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be able to see without glasses.
You'll be able to see like a goat.
Yeah.
Because you eat goat eyes.
Exactly. And then I'll listen to our ASMR episode again.
And you'll be like, wow,
yeah,
I am a goat.
I feel like I'm a goat.
Yeah. See, now I have this bowl of chili to eat.
Yeah, there you go. It's okay. I can talk about other stuff, too. You're going to be baiting us because you still haven't looked up the Mr. Beast rules for success. But you did bring a Mr. Beast original chocolate bar. Honestly, what does this guy not do is the real question.
We need to suck Mr. Beast off.
Yeah.
That's
what don't you do?
What can he succeed in?
Mr. Beast, you're so good at this. No, honestly though, what hasn't he done?
I don't know. I think he's doing like more snack stuff too. So like that's like part of his snack brand thing.
Yeah.
But
was it more expensive than a chocolate bar at all?
Let me think. I think we got 30 of them for $40. So what is that? Like $1 something.
Yeah, bar.
So they're not bad priced.
Not horrible. I don't like the colors of the bar at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you don't like the packaging?
Yeah, I don't like the packaging.
I like those. I like the colors for that. For like something like a chocolate bar, that's cool. But if you were to put that like on anything else, nah.
It reminds me of like babies and children.
Yeah, it's pink and blue.
Yeah, it's
light.
it's like a nursery color.
Yes. Yeah.
But it does only have 4 ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Organic chocolate liqueur, organic cocoa butter, sunflower lecithin, and cane sugar. Cane sugar was the first one, so if you guys are wondering at home, that is the highest ingredient. According to the FDA, the first one has the most.
Yes. Well, I think the thing is, right, is like, I think if I would have gotten the dark chocolate ones, it probably has a lot less.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
It also doesn't have any milk in it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so they don't have any milk. It just has like sunflower oil to keep together, make it shiny, or whatever that does. It has the chocolate.
Interesting.
Sugar. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, would you like your... I have a gift.
Yeah.
Would you like it?
Yeah, let's get the live reaction.
I'm hoping that you don't already have this, and here you go. You can read out loud to what it is.
I definitely do not have this. Why would I have this? Why would I own this? How did you even find this? This is horrible.
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is... Honestly, I love the name of it. This is Natural Harvest, a collection of semen-based recipes. Honestly, I don't even think I could put my name on this book if I made it. I appreciate that the guy, Paul Fotenhauer, put his name. Dude, here we go. Gotta read the back of the book. Semen is not only nutritious, which is, it's true. It is. But it also has a wonderful texture, okay, and amazing cooking properties. Like fine wine and cheeses, the taste of semen is complex and dynamic. Semen is inexpensive to produce and is commonly available in many, if not most, homes and restaurants.
It's not hard to... It's cheap, man.
Despite all these positive qualities, semen remains neglected as a food. This book hopes to change that. Once you overcome any initial hesitation, you will be surprised to learn how wonderful semen is in the kitchen. Semen is an exciting ingredient that can give every dish you make an interesting twist. If you're a passionate cook and are not afraid to experiment with new ingredients, you will love this cookbook.
Can I show you my favorite recipe?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Right, let me find it for a second.
They all look great. Mostly dessert is what I see initially.
Here we go. Yeah, grilled and glazed salmon. That was I read the glazed salmon. I'm like, yeah, of course you're glazed the salmon.
Oh my god. Dude, even drinks too.
Yep.
Also, they expect a tablespoon of fresh semen.
The guy has tips for storing your semen in the back, if you're curious. I think he says to just ejaculate into a whatever container.
Yeah.
And then put it in the freezer so you have some for later.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
imagine this guy's over like a frying pan just jacking off. He's like, come on, I need some for my salmon.
I love this, dude, to my enthusiastic friends who have encouraged me to finalize this cookbook. This is totally like some guy sitting around and be like, you should totally do that. And then this guy does this and they're like, dude, why the fuck did you? You're so weird. Notice, the cookbook is written for consenting diners of semen. Please do not add semen to your guest food without informing them beforehand.
Imagine that.
Oh my god, all the recipes in this book have all been tested by the author and friends of the author. Can you imagine be like, yo, dude, you want to try my White Russian? Uses half an ounce of semen.
Like, what was...
How many guys? What did... Everyone sits around the fucking blender.
Yeah, they're just...
Oh my god. Dude, the pictures of the food are even worse because they look like a little bit too glossy. They're like bad photos.
Well, the book is bad, dude. Like, look at the text.
Yeah,
like, they didn't even fill out the pages or, like, design them in any way. They're like, put the text in the middle and then a picture on the right or left.
God, what is even... This is holiday sauce chef's note. It is possible to enhance the semen flavor by adding the semen drop by drop along with the butter. How do you... I'm assuming this is not all while you're wanking it. It's like you just slowly pour drop by drop.
Well, yeah, if you go in the back, he tells you, like, how to harvest your semen.
Okay.
You know.
This is a volume and texture. Oh, here we go. The average ejaculation is about a teaspoon or two, and this is usually not enough when it's for cooking purposes. So volume-enhancing methods are important when semen is used gastronomically. There are two main methods to enhance semen volume. The surest way is to collect semen after a restful night's sleep, since this is when the semen volume is at its peak. Another method is the extended foreplay. While writing, I don't know why there's X and then like a hyphen.
Oh, Jesus.
Foreplay. Yeah. While writing this cookbook, the authors found that extended genital stimulation will almost always increase the amount of semen ejaculated. Texture, on the other hand, is not a factor that is very controllable, but making sure the semen producer remains properly hydrated is the key to both high volume and consistent texture. So literally this guy's like, yo, if you want to have enough for this stuff, just start cooking it and then edge while you cook it.
You're like chopping salmon. You're like,
yeah, make sure you have your pornography on full blast, and you're gonna cook up some man-made oysters.
Yeah.
You just need the shells and semen. You don't need the oysters. They're just for aesthetics. God, that actually looks gross.
It looks like he just... It just
looks like a bunch of empty oyster shells filled with semen.
He just bukkake the oysters there. It's like...
Oh my god. Those are fucking horrible. How did you find this book?
Okay, so back a long time ago, you know the show Tosh.0?
Yeah.
I used to watch that in high school.
Oh my god.
And they had this guy on there. And so, like, I was scrolling through Amazon, and then something just triggered where I was just like, Natural Harvest. And I just, like, looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's cheap.
How much was it?
It was like $7.
Dude, that is so both worth and not worth. Honestly, I'm ashamed to add this to my shelf. This is like, dude, you want to buy like 30 of these and donate them to Salvation Army. Because it doesn't have any, like, wording on the binding, so somebody would just pull this out and be like, what the fuck?
Well, so whoever puts it on the shelf is going to be like, oh no.
Dude, as someone who has tasted my own semen, there's no fucking way it's good cooking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I really don't believe it.
Yeah.
Even if you have a consistent diet of like
pineapples,
it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I don't see... I mean, like, I don't think I would need to try those to know. You know what I mean? There's got to be something else you can use that's like, oh yeah, that's close to the semen flavor.
Just use Elmer's glue.
Elmer's...
Yeah, slightly. God, what, it's so weird because I totally understand that it is very nutritious, but it's more nutritious internally if you don't expel it. That's what I believe. if you hold on to it as long as possible and it starts becoming an internal source of energy because you're not getting rid of all your energy, I almost feel like that would be more advantageous.
I mean, like, maybe you just need to, like, okay, so for those night emissions, okay, if you ever have any, you just gotta have a container.
That's true.
Just...
No, what I'll do, even better. Since I have 100% cotton underwear, what I'll do is I'll just boil the underwear and extract the nutrition from it. And then wring it out. And then whatever that liquid's left, that'll be the high nutritious nightly emission.
And then you mix it into your White Russian.
God, how did this guy get the domain cookingwithcum.com? How, dude? How much did that cost?
Who else would have even
There had to be some fucking sick guy that had that already and he had to buy it.
I bet Cum Cooking was already taken.
Dude. The fact that somebody made this book is both impressive and horrible.
Yes.
I'm excited. Thank you for this beautiful gift.
Yes,
honestly,
no problem.
I feel like I'm going to have to read it a few times to get the full effect of it. It really doesn't. It's not immediate.
It's not hard to read. I don't think.
It's something that takes extended amount of foreplay before you
really dive deep.
You rub the pages and flip through them and realize that every sauce on all of these large pictures that were taken with a not good camera. God, he's even got cake in here, bro.
Is it on the
cake,
frosting?
Dude. Spunky candied pecans.
Yeah, man, I want spunky
for
my pecans, please.
Dude, I can't imagine eating any of these things and not tasting semen. There's no way.
I mean, that's where you have to, like, not follow his advice and just feed people the recipe so that way they don't think any different.
Yeah. Honestly, the worst one is the oysters because it's literally just drinking cum.
Yeah.
And it's like it's oyster shells that you just put chilled semen in, the more the better. Ice and lemon and pepper garnish. This dude just wants to eat semen. He wants an excuse to eat semen and oyster shells.
And this was tried out by his friends.
Yeah, his friends loved it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the chef's note, you're gonna love this. A true semen connoisseur might forego the lemon and pepper in favor of the non-adulterated semen flavor. Dude, just suck a guy's dick.
Yeah, just
like... What is even the fucking point of dressing up your love of semen like this? Just go suck dick. You're wasting your time. Making, like, a ritual out of this is a nightmare.
Have the boys... I bet there's one of two ways that this started, right? Either this guy made, like, some, like a drink or, like, some kind of dish and fed his friends and then, like, kind of stood there over him, like... With like a grin, they're like, what's up, dude? And he's like, the recipe had my cum in it. And they're like, wow, it's delicious.
It tastes like that, dude. Yeah, none of these, this is like one of those things where by adding the semen, there's no way any of the dishes get better. You're only masking it.
I want to eat cum, but I want to mask the flavor.
You know, I just really need an excuse to eat my boy's cum. That's basically what this is. Natural harvest.
Yeah, here, this is the one where I think
I was thinking
storing
semen. Sorry, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I think that's the good one.
Fresh semen should be eaten or cooked within a few hours, since the taste quickly deteriorates. Once chilled, semen can be stored for up to 3 days in the fridge. If you don't plan on using it within 3 days, I recommend that you freeze it. Frozen semen should always be thawed slowly at room temperature or in the fridge in order to minimize deterioration. Wow. Chef's note. Keep a small container in the freezer and simply ejaculate into the container every morning and then return it to the freezer. This way, you will always have sufficient amounts of semen for cooking. By saving semen in this manner, you can quickly begin experimenting with the recipes that require larger quantities. Also, the frozen semen can be mixed with syrup and shaved ice to make yummy ice cones. Bro, at what point is this just like a 4chan like cum tribute jar? Like, what the fuck am I reading?
So first thing you need to do is you need to get a Hatsune Miku doll and put it into a jar.
Yeah. Like, holy shit. And this guy's just like, store it, freeze it.
Eat
Bro, this is why you need no fat. Because drinking semen fucks with your head. Oh my god.
So yeah, anyways, whenever we go to the cabin next time, I'll be able to, I'll pull up one of those recipes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing the oyster one, bro. We're gonna go up for a week, and then we're gonna do it every morning. And then we're gonna have clean oyster shells, which is just an excuse for us to drink each other's semen.
Just throw the oysters into the woods, keep the shells. Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna jack off this later.
Oh my god. You know, if you just use these recipes without semen, it'd probably be better. We'll just do all the recipes, but without the semen. Or just use Elmer's glue, like I suggested. Oh, it really tastes like glue, huh?
Yeah, wow.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. I'm so glad you remembered that and clicked purchase on that nightmare.
So yeah, anyway.
Man, his parents are proud of him.
I bet.
You know, I thought I've done terrible things, but this guy...
Yeah.
He's really brought something beautiful into this world.
Jesus. So anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Do we want to,
Yes. I still have chili.
Oh, okay. This is going to make it less appetizing.
Okay.
I was reading more of a 4chan's paranormal thread, because I love looking through what all their supplements are. And they were talking about how there's, like an interdimensional fungus that you have to kill, and the routine for it is to take NAC, which is not
salt.
No, it's
Na.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it says it on here.
I think I've heard of that. Isn't it like salt and?
It's like an N-acetylcysteine. It's an amino a non-essential amino acid.
Oh, okay.
Cysteine. Sulfur-containing acid that acts as a stabilizer for the formation of protein structures.
Oh, sulfur.
Yeah, and promotes the formation of glutathione. It is a powerful free radical scavenging compound that also helps maintain normal, balanced immune system function. In addition, it supports a healthy brain and neuronal tissues. But, yeah, the regimen that they want you to go on is like 1,200 milligrams of NAC in the morning, oregano oil, black seed oil, and then you take like 600 NAC at night and some more or whatever. I don't have the oregano oil or the black seed oil, but I just want to mention how bad these smell. It really is like fart in a jar.
It smells, yeah.
It's kind of sulfury. I mean, really sulfury.
You ever smell a volcano?
Yeah, is that what it smells like?
Not.
I've never.
It's
smelled
close, but volcano smells worse. But I mean, like that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I took it yesterday. I took it's 1,000 milligrams because I was trying it out. I heard that it is good for the brain too. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, we'll see what happens. And then I also read that people have moments of disassociation with other people when they're on it. Like, you'll just look at other people and go, man, they're really simple or something. Like
my brain is too large.
Yeah. And so yesterday, I didn't have any of those moments, but I had flickerings like 8 hours later of not like my brain pulsating, but like I can't describe it other than some form of disassociation. It had to be like I would pull out of my consciousness for like a half a second or something, and then I'd sit there and be like, what the fuck just happened? It was like a and then it just, you know, really strange.
Jeez.
So yeah, I'm hoping we get more of that effect as it goes. It didn't feel bad. It just felt like, I don't know. I don't even want to call it like. It felt like I was leaving my body, bro. It really felt like some sort of like opening up and something and closing. Is the best way I can describe it. It was really strange.
Yeah.
So I might get the oregano oil and the black seed oil just to do the full thing for
maximize.
Yeah, we'll do our. This is the second evolution of the parasite cleanse.
Yeah.
I had already seen the oregano oil like regimen. And then Amazon banned knack. Like, they don't allow it to be on their platforms because it's like a toss-up between the FDA right now or something like that. And so I was like, that makes me want to take knack even more.
Yeah.
Because if Amazon's not selling it, like all those books that they're not selling that I've been buying up, every book that's been banned, and reading those are the things you gotta read. If Amazon doesn't approve, then I'm picking it up. That's where I'm at. Jesus. That's how I decide what I want to buy.
Yeah. Once Amazon starts banning it, you're like, that's mine.
The fact that you can buy Natural Harvest on Amazon makes sense. Because they don't want you to do no fap. They realize you're going to be levitating after 30 days of no fap. They want to keep everybody's power level low. A bunch of cum-guzzling, cum-eating, bug-eating, pod-living, no-owning anything, New World Order bullshit.
Metaverse boys.
Like your whole life exists in a fucking digital realm. You take off your goddamn helmet and you take drugs to go to sleep so that you don't have to look at your ugly mug in the bathroom that has a toilet that looks at your butthole and gauges your ass health based on the pictures it takes.
What did you eat the last few days? Yeah.
Uploading your anal picture to the cloud. Amazon recommends you order these particular pharmaceuticals. Speaking of pharmaceuticals, this is like a random tangent. I don't know if it's been always so overt to me, and I swear I'm not trying to go down the medicine man route of like the hermit in the woods that grows all his herbal medicine, but I'm being pushed very hard towards it. There is an unseen force within me that is motivating me more and more to do this.
Yes.
But as I read all the names of these hospitals, I'm realizing that they don't sound like they cure anything. If anything, they sound like they're actively trying to communicate to you directly that they're killing you. Like, one of the and it's been in the corner of my periphery as I drive down streets and stuff. Like, one of the hospitals is like Ascension. Like, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, are they actually trying to, and one of them was, I just passed one today. It was like Transcendence. I was like, is this even a hospital, or are they just literally telling you they're going to kill you? Like, they're just one of them that used to be over here was Life Transition Services. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I know they're trying to maybe say that they're like they're going to fix you so good that you're going to have a new life, but it really just sounds overtly like they're actively communicating they're going to kill you. They're like, we're going to send you to the next life as fast as possible. You're going to ascend from this mortal plane immediately. All you got to do is get on this heart medication. Don't change your diet. Don't eat anything better. We're just going to give you pills for that.
You want to eat McDonald's, and that's your American right.
You know what? McDonald's, the food needs to be cheaper. Let's get some worse oil that just acts as phytoestrogens and fucks up all your hormones. You just keep eating that, boy. Just eat away. You're not even going to be able to even think about having a better diet because you're going to be literally like a communistic monkey living in a shell. Oh my god. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Damn. That is. Dude, did I tell you that we have 2 other listeners? I think I might have.
We have 2 listeners now?
That I know personally.
Oh my goodness, dude. Why do we only have 1 view on our last podcast? Tell them to fucking...
They're on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't even uploaded the Spotify ones for like
dude,
months.
I'm just calling this episode Natural Harvest.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Dude, you can get a free PDF of that somewhere probably.
Dude, you totally could. I bet it's passed around in every gay circle imaginable. They're like, dude, we need to make this more palatable.
Yeah.
What's an excuse for, like, me jerking off my bro?
I really want some salmon, but I also want to eat cum.
This is so difficult. If I could just combine the 2 together, my life would be so much more efficient. Oh my god.
I'll just jack off into the freezer every day.
Dude, why even like jack off into nothing? I'm just wasting nutrients. You know, I did read something pretty funny in a book recently. It was like people that take supplements have to gauge whether or not the supplements are helping them or if they're just making their urine more expensive. I think that's a really good point. I wonder.
A guy we know, that's his whole thing on supplements. He thinks they're all fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It might be. I don't know. I definitely felt some brain changes.
With your nap.
I bet if I took the recommended amount in the back of this of 3 pills a day, I would be in a different plane of existence.
He's just like...
What's happening, bro?
Natural harvest is the way.
I can see it now, the vibrational energy from my semen. It's the chi of my body, the chyle, the milk within me that exits through my testicles. There's something about it. I feel like I'm levitating. If only I need Pornhub Premium to reach my full potential. Dude, I was driving by, I was driving by this truck. This guy had this really big truck, and he had one of those license plate holders on it.
Yeah.
And instead of it just being a license plate holder for the car, usually like the car dealership that you get it from, like most cars, he decided he was going to customize it. And his customized license plate holder was Brazzers. I was like, dude, you really don't want a truck and you don't want to show off your pornography addiction. That's just fucking cringe.
It's the way.
Oh my god. Like, oh, ladies.
Hey, ladies, yeah, that's right. I took out a car loan and I like porn.
I routinely objectify women and have to get my instant gratification by my hands alone. There's no way I could have any sort of delayed gratification in life. So I choose Brazzers for their hyper-realistic scenes of women getting stuck in cupboards and men deciding to take the opportune moment to fuck them from behind.
Yeah, no, it's got a fleshlight in it.
What are you doing, stepbrother? That's my favorite kind.
What are you doing, stepmother's my second favorite.
Yeah. Man, I love incest, but not with my family. That would be against God's will.
I am a holy man.
Dude, speaking of which, I've been reading the Old Testament.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Actually, why don't you talk about your Bible stuff? I'll go get the Bible.
My Bible stuff.
Yeah, talk about you've been going to church. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I go to church sometimes. Yeah, I show up there. It's cool. That's about all I have to say about that. Do you ever watch Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump's a good movie. Me saying that's all I have to say about that is my Forrest Gump quote that I, intertwined. I don't know if this is even good. You know what I mean? Like, do people tune in for this moment, or are they like, oh Jesus Christ, what is he doing? Do they like fast forward? Like, if this is on YouTube, you tap the screen twice right now. Like, are you double tapping right now, going 10 seconds ahead, just waiting for me to stop? Like, until Codemaster here comes back and wow, this is this is a big Bible.
Yeah, it's big because if you open it up,
it's in 3 different languages.
Well, it's in 2 technically, because the Old Testament is like Old Hebrew, and then it's
the Greek one.
Yeah. So what you're holding for the audience, since they can't see it, is the Transliteral Bible.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can recommend this to anyone because there is actually quite a bit of spelling errors, which is kind of annoying when you're reading it. But I wanted the book effect of you remember things more when you read them from a book because of the location of the pages and stuff like that. It's like mentally encoded. There's a bunch of research on that. So I wanted a physical copy while I was going through it. And the awesome thing about it is that it does have not only the literal translation of all of the old text alongside the old text, but above all of the words of the old text, it has Strong's Concordance of Numbers, which is a guy that numbered every single word in the Bible. And so you can look up those words and get the actual translation of them alongside while you're reading them. Because, like, for example, even in the first, Adam and Eve story, it says, like, God made man out of dust. But if you look up the word for dust, that includes soil, earth, clay, stuff like that. So you can kind of get a deeper understanding of these particular words by looking up each individual word to see what they replaced it with. And especially when I get into, like, the Greek, the old Koine Greek from the New Testament, there's a bunch of words that were just rendered into sin. They were just called sin. But they mean obviously a wide variety of different things depending on the context. And so it's just up to the translator to decide what the context is in that particular moment. So I wanted to take that liberty into my own hands to be able to look up these particular words. And it was interesting because even after the Adam and Eve story, God cast out Adam and Eve, and then he has an enchanted whirling sword of fire that he uses to protect the Garden of Eden, and then he has the cherubim, like angels, that protect like the east side of the garden. And I was looking up, like, is it actually just a literal enchanted whirling sword of fire? And it is. I mean, according to the numbers that I looked up the words, I'm sure there's more Hebraic context to it, but it is very interesting. If I'm ever curious about a word or something, I look it up. But I'm also reading the King James alongside with it when I get confused about the literal translation, because some of the stuff just does not make sense. Like when I got to the man, there's a bunch of really odd moments, but there was this one odd moment where I forget what his name is, but he gets drunk on the wine from his vineyard, and then he's like naked in his house, and one of his sons sees him and goes and gets his other two brothers, and his two brothers walk into their father's house backwards with a cloth to drape over their father. And their father, after waking up and figuring out that one of his sons saw him naked and drunk or whatever in like a stupor, cursed him for the rest of his life to be a slave of everyone else. Like, I think his name was Canaan or something. And I'm like, what?
Why?
Yeah, why? That doesn't make sense. And then you read the King James and it's the same thing. And you're like, okay, so that did happen. Like, we're not... And then one of my other favorite things was, I think it was Abraham. And his son Isaac. God's like, to test your loyalty... I don't think he says it directly that he's doing it to test his loyalty, but he's like, to test Abraham's loyalty, I'm going to have him sacrifice his son to me. And so, like, Abraham takes his son, and then they, like, go up to this place, they get some wood, they, like, build an altar, and his son's like, are we going to have a lamb to sacrifice? And he's like, Abraham goes, God's going to give us a lamb to sacrifice, don't worry. And then he just puts his son on the altar, gets ready to sacrifice him, and the angel's like, no, wait, we understand your devotion, you don't need to kill your only son. Here's a ram. It was just in the bushes. You can sacrifice that instead. I was like, what the fuck? Or even the part where like everyone's talking about the rape of Lot, where his daughters have sex with him in order to keep his seed alive, essentially. And I was like, man, I'm wondering like what the context to all this is. And it's basically just like the angels are like, man, we're going to burn fire and brimstone this city of sinners. Sodom and Gomorrah, I think is the name of the city. They're like, we're just going to burn it to the ground, but we'll let Lot escape. And Lot takes his wife and his daughters to the mountains. His wife looks back at the city that's burning, turns into a pillar of salt for some reason. Probably just an excuse so that Lot can have sex with his daughter. I don't know. But anyways, then he goes into a cave because he doesn't want to live in the city out of fear of like the village retaliating against him. And the daughters are like, well, there's going to be no men coming to this random cave, so we need to get our father drunk and have sex with them. And so that's exactly what they do. And I'm like, this is like one paragraph. I've heard this story talked about like 1,000 times, and it's literally just the daughters deciding, yeah, we need to prolong our father's seed, so I'm going to have sex with him tonight, and then you can have sex with him tomorrow. I'll lay with him tonight, and then you can deal with that. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, his daughters, yeah.
Isn't that like, whatever, yeah.
It's in the Old Testament, it's fine.
Wacky in there,
It's great. Honestly, it is so strange. I know that like obviously not a lot of it is gonna come through to me because we're so far from that point. But also I think that the Old Testament, I think the primary key to understanding that is probably something in the numbers. I think the numbers are where the understanding is. I don't think it's. I mean, the stories might have some semblance of things in it, but I really think there's some sort of... Because everyone's age is like a really weird number. It's always like, oh, this guy lived to like 830-something years. Or like, this person lived to 430 years and bore this many children at like this 100-and-something years. And I'm like, obviously these people aren't literally living this long. It has to be some sort of like... there has to be code or something. And I know we talked about the gematria in the old one of our early podcasts where each of the Hebrew words totals up to a number, and then like those numbers relate to other words to help
to the motors.
To facilitate understanding. So like I don't know any of them off the top of my head that relate to each other, but I'm sure if you knew like the ancient Hebrew and then you were looking at the numbers and then were really keen with the numbers, particularly for like each person, what their name adds up to, as well as like their age that they get to, and then the words that relate to it, I think that's probably where there's like an understanding of something more. Because right now it does seem really like disjointed and strange. And then it also seems like an excuse to be like, God gave these people all these lands, so this is their land. Because like every time it's like God promised that he's going to spread my seed as the sand, and that this land was my land, and so I named it this. And I'm like, is this literally just a bunch of people going around being like, God said it's my land, so this is my land?
Hey man, I walked over here and God was like, yeah, you can have it.
Yeah. There's also this, I'm sorry, it's just like random things popping in my head, but there's also this like random, and it just keeps happening. It happens with Abraham, and it also happens with Isaac, or his son, I believe, where like they go to random cities that have like kings, and they bring their wife, and they tell the king that their wife is actually their sister, because they're like afraid of the king killing them and taking their wife. And then when like they go to lay with the sister, because they think they go to lay with his wife because they think it's his sister.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
he's
Abraham will go to a city,
yeah,
to a king, and it'll be like, this isn't my wife, this is my sister. In order to protect himself, because his wife is beautiful. So like if he were to say that it was his wife, then they would kill him.
Yeah,
that's what I think that's what they say. That makes sense. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
but when he does it like 5 times, then you're like, what the fuck?
It's just a fetish.
And the best part is that every time he does it, the same thing happens. The king will be like, okay, I'm gonna lay with your wife, which is your sister, because I think it's your sister. And then like God will come to the king in a dream and be like, if you lay with this woman who is the wife of this person, then I'm gonna like brimstone your whole city. And then the king will go to like the prophet, like Abraham, and be like, what are you doing, bro? Why are you trying to fire and brimstone my city? And then Abraham will be like, it was out of fear. And then the king's like, cool, I'm gonna give you a bunch of stuff, now you can leave. And I'm like, what?
It's like the biggest scam.
Yeah, like every time he's like, and then there was even one, I think it was with Isaac, where they're like, we saw you through, the king was like, we saw you through the windows doing stuff with your sister, and we assume it's not your sister and it's your wife. And he's like, yes, that is true, it is my wife. And he's like, why have you forsaken us? We almost had people that laid with her, and then we would have committed a grave sin, and then God would have completely destroyed our city. And he's like, yeah, I did that. And they're like, here, take all these sheep and leave somewhere. I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand.
He's like, damn it, they almost slept with my wife.
And then, like, even I guess for Abraham, it isn't totally like a lie of deception, because like it is his like half sister or something that is his wife. Like Sarah is his half sister or something. I have to look at the tree. But
history's first recorded cuck was Abraham. He really wanted someone to sleep with his wife's sister.
Yeah, honestly, I don't understand. It is so bizarre. I love it too, because it's all like in the part I'm at now, it's like, oh, there's this guy, his name's Jacob, and he's like, I want to make one of your daughters my wife. And so the guy's like, okay, what are you going to give me for that? And he's like, I'll work for you for 7 years. And so he works for him for 7 years. And then the guy's like, okay, I give you my firstborn daughter instead. Her name's Levine. She's not as attractive or whatever. And he's like, well, I wanted Rachel. And he's like, okay, work for me for 1 more week and you can have Rachel, and then work for me for another 7 years. And the guy's like, Jacob's like, okay, I guess I'll do that. So he works for this guy for like 20 years. And then then there's a feud between the sisters, because like the ugly one one is like, oh, if I just keep bearing children for Jacob, he'll actually love me. And Jacob's like, oh, I only like Rachel, but Rachel's womb is barren and she can't have children. And so Rachel's solution is just have her slave girl bear children for her instead. So she's like, Jacob, have sex with my slave girl, and this is a child for me. And then like the other girl's like, okay, well, I have a slave girl as well, so he can have sex with that and have children with her, and then that'll be more children for me as well. And then finally Rachel's like, well, I need Jehovah to bless my womb so that I can bear a child for Jacob, and that happens, and then they have a kid. And then it's like, and there's like a random scene where like Jacob's out in the field and her kid brings like love apples home, which I have no idea. I didn't look at the translation for this. It just says love apples is the literal translation. She brings love apples to one of the girls, and Rachel's like, well, I want the love apples. And the Levin chick, I think her name's Levin, I don't remember. She's like, well, if you want my love apples, then I want to lay with my husband tonight instead of you, because he always prefers you. And she's like, okay, well, we'll trade the apples, and then you can lay with the husband for the night. And then she's like, okay, and then bears another child. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I don't get this shit at all.
Dude was just like freaking Jack.
Everybody's really worried about keeping their seed alive. So that is the main preoccupation of the Old Testament. It's all about pleasing God and having as many children as possible. Keep your seed alive through slave girl or otherwise. God. And there's even just like weird stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Like Abraham was like, oh, slave hand, you need to go find a wife for my son Isaac. And he's like, swear by under my thigh, an oath under my thigh. So he like puts his hand under his thigh and he's like, I swear that I will go to a city where there is your not so distant cousins to get a wife for your son.
What?
Yeah.
Not so distant.
Yeah, I mean,
cousins?
He didn't say like not so, but they're basically like they're related. Yeah, they're very related. It's honestly a lot of incest or like borderline, like not too distant cousins type relationship. It's so weird.
Jesus,
it's really strange, but entertaining for sure. Jehovah just sounds like he's got like bipolar disorder or something, bro. It's
just
wild.
Turns like
it's
just like
crazy. He'll go wild for a moment, and then you're like, "What is the logic here? What are you doing?" But I'm just a human made of dust, so I don't know.
Yeah, you haven't slept with anybody you're related with.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have any relation with you.
Maybe my preoccupation needs to be with having many wives and having as many children as possible.
What are you doing?
Maybe I just got it wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe they're right. We'll see, depending on how this turns out.
Yeah, you gotta bear many children.
That seems to be the answer.
That is.
Yeah.
And then you go to someone's house and you're like, God told me this is mine.
Yeah.
Get out.
Dude. I have to mention one more brief interlude here. Actually, two more. Sorry, I'm gonna expand this podcast. The Cain and Abel story is literally like a couple sentences, and I've heard about that forever. It's like that Cain presents fruit to God, and then Abel presents like the flocks that he's been herding to God, and God looks at Abel's like presentation, and that's it. And that's what Cain is upset by. He's upset that God looked to Abel and not to Cain. And so Cain's like, I'm going to go have a discussion with my brother Abel. And then he kills his brother Abel.
He was jealous.
Yeah, that he was very jealous that God looked at him.
And this teaches us the lesson of kill people that you're jealous of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really, I have read other articles that are about that relate Cain and Abel to like a different thing. Like Cain is somebody that like tends to the farms. And, like, there was, like, a societal view of, like, Abel tends to, like, a herd, as in, like, herd of, like, a population of people in, like, a city. So maybe, like, you shouldn't, I don't know, whatever. I'm not really sure what that entire thing articulates, but I'm sure there's a bunch of symbolism that's lost on me. Yeah. The other story that I thought was funny is, God, is it Abraham again? It might be Abraham. Or no, it's Isaac's sons, I think. His son Esau and his other son Jacob. Jacob is a smooth child. That's what they define him as.
Smooth.
And Esau is a hairy child. He's a man's man. He goes out and hunts. He tills the field. Esau is like a stay-at-home mama's boy, basically. Okay. And
smooth.
and yeah, that's what they describe
He's
it
a
as.
smooth brain.
Yeah, he's a smooth boy. Fragile boy. And so like Isaac's getting like really old, and he's like, okay, I have a blessing for you. I want to bless you, Esau, but I'd like, because I'm gonna die. But before I die, I'm gonna give you this blessing. But I'd like you to prepare for me like a good meal. So go out, hunt, bring home something, and then cook it, and then I'll eat it, and I'll give you a blessing. And like his wife, who prefers the smooth child more than the rough and tumble man's man, is like, okay, we're gonna kill some of our goats, and you're gonna pretend to be your brother so that you get the blessing instead of him. And he's like, okay, well, wouldn't that be deception? She's like, it doesn't matter. You just gotta do it anyways. And he's like, okay, and goes along with it. So she cooks like all the food for him, and then he like gets his hands bloody or something, or puts like fur on him to deceive, because he doesn't have hairy hands like his brother, so he wants to deceive his like decrepit father into believing that he is his brother. Yeah, father. And then so no, it gets even worse. The father is way worse than you would imagine, because not only does this work and he gives him the blessing instead of Esau, but he's like, you sound like my son Jacob instead of Esau, but then he touches the hands, which I'm pretty sure have like fur on it or something, and he's like, but you have Esau's hands, and he's like, the food was very good. So the blessing he gives him is like, you will rule over all the land, your brother will be like a servant to you, and your seed will spread like far and wide. And then like later that night, after like Esau gets the hunted food and like cooks it all up and comes in and is like, Father, I've got everything prepared. I'm ready for your blessing. And he's like, well, who is the person that came in beforehand that got the blessing instead? And they're like, oh my God, it's my brother Jacob. And then so he's like pissed off and like crying and like really angry and upset. And he's basically like going to kill his brother. And his father's like, I can't give you any more like blessings, basically. Like I've already given.
I'm tapped out.
I'm out. That's all I have.
I only had one blessing.
And then he's like, okay, well, I can give you a blessing. And the blessing he gives him is like, you will be a servant to your brother, and you will do whatever he says.
You suck.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on? Why don't you just bring in your other son, like, and beat him for deceiving you?
Give me that blessing back.
Yeah. Spit it out.
No.
Yeah.
I want to be a king.
Like, you're a sinner. And then his Jacob's mother, who prefers him more than Esau, is like, you need to run away now. And so he's like, okay. And he goes to his father, who knows it's Jacob at this point. The wife is more conspiring than I thought. She says that none of the girls here are good for her son Jacob to wed or whatever. Because they're Canaanites. They saw their father in their familial line. They saw one guy saw his father naked, so he's been cursed forever. So the Canaanites, they
can't
suck.
do that.
Yeah. So they were like, she was like, none of these girls are fit here. You need to send our son away to another like place. And so he calls Jacob in, and he's like, Jacob, you need to go to another place. That's what you got to do. And so I was like, I was gonna kill my brother. Where is he? Okay, I guess I'll just stay here and work the fields. And then it goes through like all of Jacob's life with the Rebecca or Rachel and that ugly girl and all that. And then I'm just at the part where Jacob's about to come back and he's hoping his brother won't kill him after 20 years of being away.
He's like the whole ruler blessing didn't work.
Yeah, but I'm like so confused because like on their way back he basically said like, oh, the guy that I got the daughters from, those are unfair wages, so I'm taking all this other stuff instead. I'm taking these slaves, I'm taking this sheep. Like, I told God that if the sheep bore speckled sheep, then they would be mine, and if they weren't, then they'd be yours, and God bore a bunch of speckled sheep, and they were all strong, so I took them. Whatever. Travels through the mountains, the guy's like, yo, he stole all my shit, comes up, and then they, like, make this rock covenant where they're like, if you pass the rock to hurt me, then God will smite you, and if I pass the rock to hurt you, God will smite me, because clearly you stole some of the stuff, but you didn't steal my stuff, even though your wife did steal some stuff, but I don't know that. So anyways, then they're like, okay, we're pretty close to like my brother wants to kill me because I like took his blessing, and he's supposed to be like a servant to me, so I'm gonna send the slave hands ahead of time to give gifts to my brother in order to make it so that like my brother thinks that I'm like giving him gifts and he's not gonna kill me. And then he's like, okay, well, I still think my brother's gonna kill me, so I'm gonna split up into 2 camps, and so if one camp gets killed or assaulted by my brother, then whatever, then the other one can run away. And then he's like, oh, what did you say? You said my brother is coming here with 400 men to greet me? Okay, and then there's like this random paragraph of like Jacob wrestling some other dude who I have no idea what the fuck happened. And what I think happened is I think he asked one of his guys to beat the shit out of him so that he like looks limping and he's like looks like he's weak as he comes to his brother, so his brother doesn't fuck him up or something. But I don't know. I have to read the King James to figure it out.
The smooth brain is coming back.
Yeah, the smooth child. It's so, dude, it's a wild ride reading any of this stuff. It's so great.
Jesus.
And it also does have a bunch of weird, like the whirling fire sword and stuff like that, and it's really
wacky.
Bizarre. Yeah,
Jesus,
it's great, dude. Big recommendation. Read the Bible.
Yes,
I'm only like 40 chapters in.
I see where your bookmark is and how big the book is, and yeah, it seemed like you read a lot, but it's not.
Yeah, I would say it feels like a lot because the text is so small. So even though like it seems like 40 pages, it's probably a lot more than that in the actual Bible.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'll get through it.
You're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it.
You're
I'm going to have to, like,
trenches.
chart all the family. I'm sure somebody's already charted them, but
Yeah.
I'm going to have to chart all the family trees because it is so confusing. There are just paragraphs of, like, this person had this kid, and this person had these 3 kids, and his slave girl bore this many kids, and these kids were called these kids, and those kids had these kids, and then their slave girls had these kids, and their wives had these kids, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's a lot of sex happening.
I bet back in the day they were really good at memorizing all that because they had to, and that was all that was going on.
I think it's like a way to preserve the family tree, but also it's like a coded message with the names probably and the numbers. That's what I think.
Yeah.
There's got to be something more there.
for
I'm not
the
sure what it is.
for the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, for the Masonic Knights of Columbus spaghetti monster worshippers.
Yeah,
the New World Order.
Yeah, that's right. So I have some updates if you'd like.
Jump.
Okay. Fiance.
Jump off my Noah's Ark.
Fiance has she's made it to the cabin fever. And I'm like, are you sure?
Do you really want to keep listening?
Yes.
It only gets worse. This natural harvest is way worse.
Well, so she was listening to it, and she's like I think on one of the episodes I talked about how like we had an argument or something at some point, and she was like, like looking back on that, like I'm glad that it was a heartwarming moment of she's like, I'm glad that I have you, because like we figured that out like pretty quick, and like you talking about it on the podcast and stuff like shows that you cared about it enough to like talk about it on the podcast and stuff. So hello, wife.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
We talk about our problems. I think I brought it up in one of our past episodes, but that there was a Twitter post that still gets to me this day. It was like, some girl complaining about like, why do men do podcasts instead of going to therapy? I do think that the podcast is in a way some form of therapy.
Yeah, it's like lethargic or whatever you want to call it in a way.
It's a healing process.
Yeah, we can come in here and talk about the things that we've been thinking about for... Well, for me, it seems like whenever I come in and talk about something, like, we move on from it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like every time I think about gold and turning it into a bank.
Dude, I agree wholeheartedly. There's something about the only way to fight those things inside of you is to render them illuminated in light. It's this. You have to expose them to the outer world. Yeah. You're forever going to have your problems until you, like, expel them. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever process that is for you.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, because, like, I will, I had this issue where I still haven't really dealt with it much, and it's been weighing on me. And I keep forgetting about it because it's something I don't want to do, right? So it's like, my sister... I need to talk to her more and like become more of her brother, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like I just need, I want to patch up our relationship essentially.
Yeah, if I were to offer any advice, it's don't look to the Old Testament for advice on how to patch up a brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
They have some uncanny solutions.
So, but yeah, no, that's been like dragging on me for a long time, and I mean, like, I can feel it, right? Where it's just like, my conscience isn't clear. There's something always just a little thing like, go fix that.
You had said that you were going to call. Have you done that yet?
No.
Okay.
And, it's just, I don't know, it's hard, man. And I need to just do it, and I keep saying that I just need to do it, but it's like, I haven't.
You need to promise yourself to do it after this podcast as you're driving to work.
I need to promise myself to do it after the wedding, like I've promised myself to do so much after the wedding.
No, dude, life happens now, bro.
I
know. Can't wait.
I know deep down that it doesn't work that way, but I'm like...
You need to listen to a few more chapters of the Power of Now audiobook that you're still not done with.
I'm not...
And then you need to call your sister. That's what you gotta do.
Dude, I listened to the first chapter, understood it completely. So what are the other chapters going to give me?
Well, he talks about some other interesting things, like how everybody has these like little ghosts that follow them, and you have to fight them.
I'm ready to fight.
I don't remember what chapter it is. I think he calls them like pain body like apparitions or something.
Do you like whenever you read that chapter, you start going like, "Oh, there they are."
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
ready.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because a lot of this stuff gets trapped in my head and then it like correlates. So like the Power of Now pain body thing, I thought that was like really weird. And then I was reading like the anthroposophy stuff of like how to achieve like higher worlds with your mind. And they were saying that after like a certain point of dwelling on all this stuff and thinking about it and reflecting and opening your mind up to the records of some library that exists beyond intelligence or something, you start to like look at things and see like a hue of color surround them. Mm-hmm. Like you'll look at a plant and it'll be like a specific hue of color that outlines the plant. And I'm like, maybe I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
What's stopping you? Maybe if I sat there and thought about the life and death of a seed and imagined the process consistently, interchangeably, back and forth for like 10 hours, maybe I would start to see some sort of like colored hue around specific objects.
Yes.
It's
You'd
possible.
understand them.
I don't know.
Greater.
If I did that for 20 years, I'm sure I definitely would see some hues around those.
Damn.
I'd have a completely different changed perception of how I interpret those things, so...
Jesus. Yeah, no. You know.
But anyways, yeah. I'm getting sidetracked. You need to go through your healing process.
I do, you know. Oh, yeah. So, I need to talk to my sister.
Yeah.
It's really what I need to. And I had a text conversation with her.
Oh.
That was close.
How did that go?
It was fine. Just, you know, how you doing? She's like, hey, did you give me an extra +1 for the wedding? I'm like, yeah, you know, all that junk. Then we had a little conversation afterwards where she talked about her dog and stuff, and that was about it. Mm. So it's not like, I don't know. I still need to.
Yeah, honestly, you should send her a text and be like, send me pictures of your dog. Just talk about the dog. Women love dogs. They love to talk about their dogs.
They do. I mean, like, I like talking about dogs.
There you go.
But I guess not in the same fashion, probably. Like, I'm not like, oh, they're so cute. I always go like, they're like smart. Like, I like seeing how dogs do things, and I'm like, that's interesting, because I feel like dogs pay attention to us more than we pay attention to them.
I think yeah, that's probably true. I've actually, it's funny you bring that up, because I do, every time I hear somebody say like, oh, stupid dog, I don't ever think a dog is dumb or like not intelligent. Like he's literally, they're living their life on like instinct, and some of their instincts are definitely better than ours. And recently I've been trying to implement more dog routines into my life. And I'm serious, because one of the things I looked at was like, every time my girlfriend's dog, who's a Great Dane, goes for like a nap, and then he wakes up after any prolonged period of sitting or something, he always stretches. I'm like, I need to do that. Because if he's doing it, and that's his natural instinct to do that, that's probably better for him.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, maybe my muscles would be better if I stretched them after prolonged sitting for any period of time.
My cat, every time he gets up, like, not even from naps or anything, he stretches. He does
Mhm.
the same exact thing probably, where he just
and does it,
and does the back one.
And I'm like, dude, we need to start doing this because this is it reminds me of that story you told me of that guy who kept doing powerlifting, and he's like, why can't I continue doing powerlifting anymore? And they couldn't figure it out, and he was like in the hospital or whatever, and eventually just started stretching. He was like, oh shit, I need to stretch.
Yeah.
I'm retarded. Like that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. And I'm like, dude, the animals knew this the whole time, but we've been like, we may have just thought we were superior to them, and that's why we can't observe them to like look at their particular behaviors.
Maybe that's why, like, you know, like I'll wake up and I'll be sore tomorrow, right? But maybe if I was just like constantly stretching, I would have been fine.
Maybe you would have been prepared. Just stretching, do a whole line of stretches immediately. Yeah.
There you go. Other thing.
Yeah.
I sent you a clip of Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, and I've been re-watching a lot of those, and I didn't know that you can find illegal episodes of season 3 on there. And damn, dude, that's a good show.
Is it?
Yes, but it continues my what do you call it? Psychedelic. Journey, whatever. Yeah. So like last time we talked about it a bunch, and now I'm here again, and I'm like. Yeah, so that's still on my mind. I'm still thinking about random.
It's definitely still on my mind too. I think about it more and more. I finished that book, Your Mind on Plants, and finished the Mescaline chapter, which was honestly the worst ending to one because like throughout the whole process he tries like each of the plants, but the last one was just so. Honestly, I just have to use it as pejorative. It was so gay. It was so lame, and I don't even mean that from like oh, I'm not trying to say that I think the Native American like ritual for mescaline is like dumb or anything. Just the way they did it was dumb because it was like during COVID. But they like did it inside of their house, and they built like an altar in like a room, and then they had a bunch of people like go through it, but they had like a woman who was like well versed in the rituals like carry it out, but it's just like that doesn't feel like the real experience. I'm not saying you have to go like in a teepee with the Native Americans to be able to do it, but like doing it in a house, like even when he was writing it, he was talking about how there's the aspect of like the characters that play into your mescaline trip. Like you have the wind, you have like nature around you, you have a fire in front of you, and there's like the constant music and stuff. And there was music and there was people like singing, but there wasn't fire, there wasn't wind, it wasn't outside, it was inside, it was like isolated and confined. And you know, it was just strange. And then he had like a pure synthesized mescaline as well, which the writing on that was more interesting because his trip was more interesting about it. But yeah, anyways, we're going to just have to
do drugs.
That's basically your solution. You can heal all by just externalizing all your problems and imbibing and taking drugs. Yeah.
I mean, like, there's people that, like, cure their, like, depression and junk like that with... You know, there's, like, places out... I think it's, like, that weird state that legalized all the drugs.
Yeah. Oregon?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a center there where you can go if it's, like, something that's going to kill you. Like, if you have cancer, it's like, it's too late. You can go through chemo, but it'll probably kill you anyway. And so those people that really are, like, struggling to accept that or whatever, they can go to this, like, facility where they, like, give them mushrooms and, like, it brings people away with, like, this idea of, like, I can just accept it. Like, you know, life is beautiful and, like, I can see all this stuff. I don't know why this is so interesting to me. I was thinking about this on the car ride over. Why would that be so interesting? Why is that, like, something that I'm, like, drawn to where people are just, like, they take this thing, they see a bunch of stuff, they go through this sudden realization of, like, wait a second, like, all this struggle and stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm still alive and I'm still doing stuff and I can see this beautiful world in front of me and stuff. And it's just...
You know, I do think that the aspect that draws people... I mean, there's a lot of aspects that I'm sure draw people to drugs, but I've also seen a lot of, like, resurrection stories from, like, controlled situations of using drugs. Like, people use these things, these substances, and whatever dose that they take of them for those moments in order to overcome adversity and view it from a particular a different view. One of the interesting things that I've read was that praying does something similar to that. Like, most people think that praying is just asking like God for help or to like fix your life. But if you use it as like a
meditation,
almost, but like the act of praying is you giving up and recognizing that the way you're doing things is a failure. And by doing that, by going through that mental process of saying like, the way I'm doing things is wrong, and you actively understand that you're doing this thing wrong, you unlock your ability to be not constrained anymore. Like, because your mind is like a box, and you believe that the only way to do a particular thing is by continually doing it the way that you're doing it. But by giving up, you open up the opportunity for more like different solutions to come. And so it may not be necessarily that like God is talking to you, or I mean, depending on what you believe in, but that the faith in yourself of giving up and like finding forgiveness and stuff allows you to move forward and try something else different, because you're just continually doing the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I think your body takes that toll. And I think that the release of that, whether it's through drugs or praying or meditation or something, is what you need. Like, if you continually say you're going to do things and then you don't do what you're going to say, or you want to do things and you have decided to do things but you haven't done them, like, your body's just going to keep accruing that toll. Like, your subconscious will take the toll of, you want to do this thing, you know you want to do this thing, why are you waiting to do this particular thing? You know your life would be better if you did it, so what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, and that is where your body's like, bro, I can't take this anymore. That's like where I think anxiety comes in too. Yeah. There's like that aspect of like, you need to do something with your life, and every time you sit down and like do the same thing over and over again, you're not doing anything productive. Like, you're just trying to overstimulate your brain to preoccupy yourself with some sort of escapism. And so you need to actually do the things that your body's telling you. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think I'm viewing it more in like I do think it is like, and maybe this is where like the religion and like spiritual aspect comes in, that you are like three things. You're like your body, you're like your mind, and you are your soul or daemon or whatever. Yeah. And like, you need to link all of those things together and have like a healthy medium between them in order to be a real self-actualized person. Yeah. Basically.
And what it seemed, exactly what she said. But it just seems like the psychedelics seem to be not really a cheat code for it, but like there's something in there that unlocks that tells you that.
I think it is a temporary gateway to a different line of thinking. Mm-hmm. I think you could get there with a lot of other things. Yeah. But I don't think that there is, like, to use words that I read recently that I thought was funny, I don't think there's any drive-through enlightenment. I don't think you can just get your fast food enlightenment and just be like, yeah, can I get enlightenment? Yeah, give me that heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms or whatever.
Well, I think you have to, like, if that's something that's been on your mind, right, and you're thinking about, like, oh, I'm going to die soon, that's going to be something that you're like, well, I'm going to see if mushrooms helps. And I'm just, I want it to help, and I hope it brings me to where I need to go. Mm. You know what I mean? So maybe there's something where your mind is prepared for it, whereas some people are like, dude, I want to see some shapes and colors, bro. And they're not going to have, like, an enlightenment necessarily, you know what I mean? So, but, I wanted, at some point in my life, and I think we talked about this in the podcast, do some kind of psychedelic to...
I would like to as well, just to see what would happen. Yeah. I want to do it for a writing exercise, though, to, like, write what I'm feeling and then use it in a book or something. Yeah. I actually just bought a book that I haven't, it's coming in, but the Your Mind on Plants, this guy named Jim Hogshire released a book in...
Hogshire,
I think it is. Oh. He released a book in the 90s called Opium for the Masses, which is essentially just how to make opium. Yeah. And he also wrote a book called Pills A Go-Go, because he used to run a magazine where he'd just try random drugs and then write what his experience was. And like, one of them was like, he tried this drug and he's like, I basically felt like a lizard. And he was like, I had to continually do things to like make sure that I wasn't being weird or like like felt that I fit in with society. It's like
Yeah.
everything just felt like a lizard brain to me. It sounds funny, so I
Sounds
wanted
like-
to read it.
Yeah.
It's like the Pills a Go-Go is like a collection of all those magazine articles of this guy just doing random drugs and writing about the experience.
that one drug sounded like he just got autism temporarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. It's really interesting.
I just need to make sure I'm blending in with society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems hilarious.
Jesus. Yeah. So, anyways, you want to go out to the woods?
Yeah, I think we should go to the woods.
Just, find whatever we can find. Some
Yeah,
mushrooms.
just start eating it. Yeah.
Maybe we could find some mold
Yeah.
and synthesize it with, like, some fire or something.
Yeah.
And then eat that to get some LSD.
Yeah, if we just take all the mushrooms we find, boil them in a pot for like 7 hours, and reduce it all down to like a really fine or whatever's left.
Yeah. What's weird about mushrooms, though, is that they don't reduce very.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you can't burn them.
Yeah, I guess maybe we gotta grind them up.
There you go.
In a mortar and pestle.
Yeah,
and then,
powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and snort it.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
do it.
I can see it. You're like, wait, I need more. Oh.
But anyways, goodbye.
Good luck and goodbye.
Love you.
Go to the woods.